Hello children, today let's go with a new chapter, Light, Shadows and Images. 15th chapter of Science, Light, Shadows and Images. One day, Raju started for his home from school late in the evening. When he started, he was able to see trees, buildings, animals, buses, etc. on the road and on either side of the road. As he kept walking, he started growing dark and soon he was not able to see objects either on the road or on the sides as clearly as earlier. When he reached home, it was already dark. He started doing his homework. Suddenly, the power went off. He was not able to see any objects in the room. Raju started wondering, why am I not able to see the objects clearly when it gets dark? Why am I not able to see the objects when power went off? How are we able to see the objects in the presence of light? Why are we not able to see the objects in the absence of light? He was thinking of all these questions. Let's go with activity 1. How can we see objects? Make room dark. Make your room dark by shutting the door and windows. Put on the light. Look at any one of the objects in the room. After that, hold a plank or a writing pad in front of your face. Is that object visible to you? No. Why is it not visible through? Though there is light, plank is in between in order not to visible. What happens when you hold a plank between the object and you? Plank doesn't allow you to look at that object. The object is visible when there is no obstruction between your eyes and the object. If we keep obstructions like plank or writing pad, they do not allow something that is coming from the object to reach us. What is that something coming from the object? Let's see. When we put on the bulb, light falls on the object, bounces from the object and reaches us. You see the image here. We can see an object only when light falls on it and bounces back to our eyes. See figure 1 and observe the direction of the arrows. Light rays falling on the mug rays falling on the eyes of us. That makes us to look at the object. Where does light come from? Which objects give us light? Think and write below. From sun we get light. From bulbs, tube lights, we get light. A substance which gives light is known as a light source. Sun, a glowing bulb, lighted candle, etc. are some sources of light. Any object which burns or glows acts as a source of light. Is moon a source of light? In the night, moon will be a source of light. Can you give some more examples of sources of light? Street lights, torches, etc. You might have seen your shadow many times. Yes. When did you see it? In the dark. Is it during daytime or at night? Mostly in the evenings. It is a common experience that we see shadows in daytime or shadows formed at night. Daytime we see our shadows in sunlight. Yes, mostly even in night also. Try to see your shadow in moonlight on a full moon day. It is also possible to get your shadow at night in your house when the electric bulb is on. Is it possible to form shadows when there is no sunlight, bulb or any other light? No. What do we need to form a shadow? We need light and a strong body. We need light to get the shadow of any object. Do all objects form shadows? See. Let's see. Try to form shadows of a book, pen, duster, polythene cover, glass plate on the wall of your classroom with the help of a torch. Do you find any difference in the shadows of the above objects? Yes. Do all objects form shadows? Yes. Which objects form the shadow? All objects doesn't form. Which objects does you see? Pen, Duster form shadows. Which objects do not form? A glass plate, polythene cover. Think and write why some objects form shadows and others do not. Let's just see. The substances like paper, plank, wood, iron, etc. do not allow light to pass through them. These objects form shadow. They are called opaque substances. The substances like glass and air allow light to pass through them, and hence we do not get their shadows. Such substances are called transparent. Substances such as polythene cover and oily paper partially allows light to pass through them. Their shadows are unclear. These are called translucent substances. See. A straight, highly polished, smooth, and reflective surface is known as a plane mirror. A reflecting surface is plane. Reflection will occur. Due to reflection of light, we are able to see images of objects in a mirror. Transparent material. Materials through which light can pass through are glass, water. We can't see any image of any shadow of these. Materials through which light can pass partially. Tracing paper, waxed paper. It's a translucent material. Unclear shadow is formed. Materials which do not allow light to pass through them at all are wood, metals like opaque material. They form shadows. Observe figure 2. Write whether the sheet held by the boy is transparent, translucent, or opaque below each of the pictures. First is opaque, second transparent, third translucent. Think, yes, and write in table 1 which objects in your classroom and at home form shadows, which do not form shadows, and which form an unclear shadow. Fill the table 1. Check the above objects in sunlight to verify your guess and make corrections in table 1 if needed. After checking, give your own examples for transparent, translucent, and opaque substances. Fill these examples, children. Thus, we see that all objects do not form shadows. Only opaque objects form shadows. We need a source of light and opaque object to get a shadow. Are source of light and opaque object enough to get shadows? Do we need something more? Let's see. Activity 3. Do this activity in a dark room with a torch and a book. Focus the light on the book with the torch as shown in figure 3. Keep the distance about 30 cm between the book and the torch. Where do you find the shadow of the book? On the wall. Now put the torch under the book at a distance of about 30 cm. Where do you find the shadow of the book this time? On the ceiling. Do the same activity in open air outside at night. Where are the shadows formed in this situation? Open air it won't form. Do you see a shadow in open air when the torch is under the book? No. Why? There is no surface to get the shadow. Place a drawing sheet or a blank at a distance of 1 meter above the book and try to find the shadow of the book. Do you find the shadow of the book if you remove the sheet? No. What do you understand from the above activity? We understand that only light and opaque objects are not enough to form the shadow of an object. In addition to these, we need a screen. In the above activity, we used a drawing sheet or blank to get the shadow. In our day-to-day life, we observe many shadows on the surface of the earth. In all these cases, the earth is a screen. Do you know shadow property is one of our traditional recreational activities? In this, some puppets are used to form shadows on a screen and a story is narrated with the help of these shadows. Observe figure 6. Try to make puppets and do a shadow puppet show in your school. Can you guess the objects by observing its shadows? Observe the figure 7 and write the names of the objects first. say ball, tree, nail, bird. Second is fingers. Using fingers we made. It's like a rabbit. See the objects in figure 7 and compare them with the names guessed by you. Yes, nail. Fingers, I said the last one. You hear also bird with fingers, ball, tree. What do you find? Were you able to guess the object correctly in all cases? Yes, but in fingers, different. You must have wondered when you compared your guesses and the actual objects of which shadows are found. You may notice that the shadows that looked like a bird and animal are actually formed by hands. Try to form similar shadows with your hands. What can we conclude from the above activity? Can we guess the object by observing its shadow? You can mistake. We can't always. Color of a shadow. Take 4 balls of equal size but different colors. Try to form shadow of each ball as shown in figure 8. Ask your friend who is facing the screen and not able to see the balls to guess the color of each ball. Is your friend able to guess the color of the ball correctly? No. Is it possible to guess the color of the object by observing its shadow? No. If not, why? Shadow in an area where light is absent. Shadow is an area where light is absent. As the shadow is colorless, irrespective of color of the object. We have seen that we can't guess the object by observing its shadow. Can we guess the shape of the shadow that would be formed by an object? Yes, we can. This is about our part 1 today, which will continue in our next class.